And most times, in fact, most years of my year, I spent very few years of my salvation since I got born again. I spent very few years as a church member. In fact, very, very few. I got born again in 1986, and I was in the university. I just entered university at that time. And when I finished university, I went straight to NYSC. In fact, it was a month to my finishing the NYSC that I resumed in the seminary as a pastor. So I had only maybe 5 years to really test myself. So sometimes when I look at that, I also look at it that, okay, I can look at when I was a student in the university. I think last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago, I was sharing how I was a member of 2 different fellowships. And every evening, I have one fellowship meeting to attend. So I look at it, what could be driving a student to be going to fellowship every day? And I discover that there must be something inside of me then that was propelling me. You need that thing. You need to catch that fire. Something that will propel you to thirst after the things of God. That nobody will need to appeal to you. And when you see people like that, you see them. Sometimes when you see the level of commitment of some people, it surprises you. So what is driving you? What is driving you? Both personal and corporate. For instance, we are talking about the mind of Christ. Studying about the mind of Christ so that we can become increasingly like Christ. And there are people, no interest. No interest. Different platforms. Whether Monday, whether Sunday morning, whether online, but no interest. It's not a thing of value. That's an indication of the level of growth. We talk about prayers. You see God in prayer, not only together with yourself, but together with others. And there are different opportunities of prayer. Maybe Wednesday, even we have even brought one to your doorstep. Huh? But there is something that is missing. The thirst, the longing for the things of God. Everyone has something that drives you. Something that you are passionate about. Even if they wake you up at the middle of the night, if they fix that thing for the middle of the night, even if you are dying, you will wake up for it. But there is something that is missing inside that makes you. And brethren, when God is saying, becoming increasingly like Him, becoming increasingly like Him, in seeking after God, it is that will propel one even to leave some other things. One day I look at somebody in this church, Bukola Jedoko. I look at her, and I look at where she lives. I look at the fact that her husband is not always around. I look at the children, and I see driving from that far, coming for Monday discipleship, coming for Wednesday, and I look at her and say, there is something inside of her that has been driving her. So brethren, you know a disciple of Christ, a true disciple of Christ, when there is a thirst, a longing. It was that thirst that is inside of Jesus. He was so busy when he was on earth, and yet early in the morning, before dawn, he will wake up to seek his Father. Early will I seek him also implies another thing. It implies seeking him about things before it is too late. To what extent do you seek the face of God for guidance about what you want to do? To what extent do you turn to God for solution to a problem? Do you do that when everything seems not to be working? You know a disciple of Christ by the way he brings every area of his life to God and say, God, should I go ahead? God, are you in it? Early will I seek him. Are you a disciple of Christ indeed? And there were people that were disciples of Christ indeed, but they are forsaking their first love. So as we look at this particular factor, can you look back? Are you like this? Are you like this? What has happened on the way? God